Hey guys, this is Matt from Team Crimson bringing you a Granblue deck profile. So obviously we've got my starter, Guiding Zombie. For grade 3s I run one Violence Flanger because obviously you only want to run one copy of him. I run 4 Skull Dragons. Reason being is a lot of times I'll find him either in my hand or in the damage zone where I can't use him, and there are some times that I can get 2 of them on the field at once, and that's a lot of power. That's a lot of power that my opponent has to guard for. And then I run 4 Basskirk. That's an obvious. Moving on to my grade 2 lineup. I run 4 copies of Rune Shade because he helps out a lot with fueling the drop zone. I run 4 Commodore Blue Blood. He especially helps out. He helps get cards in hand and he helps fuel the drop zone. It's a pressure unit, which I find really good for this deck. And then I run 4 Captain Night Mist. This card helps me fuel the drop zone even more because I can call out Norman the Ghosty, fuel the drop zone with it, or again I can call out another Skull Dragon, I can call out Violence Flanger, whatever I need with him. Moving on to the grade 1 lineup, I run 4 Norman the Ghosty, which Norman the Ghosty is an obvious because he fuels the drop zone as well as giving power to something. So, major plus right there. You can just plus hardcore off of him. 4 Dancing Cutlass, obviously, because he helps countercharge, which is very useful for this deck considering a lot of stuff counterblast. Especially with Basskirk, you use up a lot of those counterblast. Me, I think I've only ran into a few scenarios where I absolutely had to do the Cutlass, but he's a good card. You pretty much you can plus off him too, depending on how you use him, and what you use him with. And then I run 4 Dandy Guy Romarios. So in total I am running 12 grade 1s. Reason being is most of the time you want to ride him or you want to ride the Cutlass if given the chance. Most of the time I ride him just because I'm able to get him. And moving on to my zeros, 4 heals, which that's an obvious. I run in total 4 of the PG draw and 2 regular draws, 6 draws. Personally, I've liked the 6 and 6 just because the extra draws help me draw into the combo pieces that I need. They help me add cards to hand, and with this being a Protect clan, those extra cards tend to help out with guarding. Especially if you're going up against an Excel deck. And then 6 crits. The crits are there for pressure, extra pressure. I mean, you've got Basskirk, which already gains a crit from fueling the drop zone. So the 6 crits are extra pressure, especially because most of the time, by the time that I ride into Basskirk, by the time I ride grade 3, they're at 3 damage, so they're going to want to guard Basskirk anyway. So the crits are there for pressure mainly. And then, last but not least, we've got my 8 Protect markers. They're sad, they're boring. You guys should know what Protect markers are by now. Please remember to like and subscribe. That is my deck profile for Granblue.